Hey everyone, this is Josh from before, and I'm here with McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, Batman Returns, the whole wave, including the Big Ducky. This is the first review I've done in more than a year. You might even notice that I'm broadcasting from a brand new toy room. Obviously still kind of being put together. There are no bright colorful walls yet. Big new cabinet, kind of half complete displays in all these cabinets that need lights put in them and what have you. So in the past year, a lot has happened. My girlfriend and I bought a house, which is very awesome. My dad died, which is not awesome at all. And I have been putting a whole lot of time and effort into a new comic book. This is a new story, a new universe. The idea is that it's a universe where everybody has their own talking Knight Rider car that is kind of tailored to their style and their personality. I'll tell you a lot more about that in the future. Let's come back to these toys, and the main reason I haven't done a review in more than a year is my enthusiasm for the DC Multiverse line, McFarlane Toys brand in general. It's at an all-time low, I gotta say. And the reasons why are heavily documented in many of the past reviews that I had been doing. And it just got to the point where I was just kind of saying the same complaints over and over again. And that's just not really, a great use of my time to just be saying the same stuff over and over again. And I think there's too many toy channels out there that just seem pissed off all the time. And like at a certain point, it's like, dude, if you're mad about this stuff like all the time, then maybe you don't actually like it as much as you think. You know what I mean? And that's just not the kind of content that I'm really trying to put out there, is just being a bummer and being pissed off all the time. But I got to come back for these. This is a big one. Batman Returns. They've gone pretty hard on this wave. I think it's definitely worth talking about. But really, I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a mixed bag. There's some great stuff going on. There's also just a lot of the same kind of shortcomings. The big one right out the gate is just the price. Every single standalone figure was $35 plus shipping. I said a long time ago, when the prices started creeping up from 20 to 23, 25 bucks each, I said, I wasn't as worried about the price hikes. I was more worried about the prices going up without increasing the value of what's in the box. And pretty much every single figure from this wave is an example of just being too expensive and not delivering enough. Let's start with these eagles. These are eagles, right? I have bird blindness. These look really good, but just an insane price point. 35 bucks for these three guys. And the only articulation among all three of them is this guy can move his arms. 10 bucks a piece. They don't do shit. And they're McFarlane Toys exclusives. McFarlane Toy Store exclusives, meaning they're just kind of hard to get. You got to pay to have them shipped. So that's just prohibitive to like army building, which is, I'm sure many people would love to kind of, pick up a couple, but that price point is just making it prohibitive. So I don't know, I guess if that's what you want, Todd, if you want to sell one when you could have sold two, if you want to, tax the people that are the most loyal to your product. All right, guys, if that's what you want to do, if that's how you want to play it. I think they look fantastic. I'm thrilled with the amount of paint that's on them. It's just that price is just no good. Max Shreck, this is wonderful and hilarious and just excellent. I'm so thrilled that they would make Max Shreck. Of course, they're reusing a lot of Heath Ledger Joker. That's fine. I don't need, a brand new head-to-toe new sculpt for Max Shreck. That's cool. They've really made this work really well. The stripes are great. The Heath Ledger pants were like this corduroy kind of texture. They've laid the paint on real thick that makes those sculpted vertical lines kind of recede a little bit, and they've laid just the slightest bit of that same texture on the jacket. So even if that doesn't make 100% logical sense, visually the texture continues, and it's a great match. So really well done. And of course the wild, insane electrocuted head, which of course every 6-year-old expects their Batman movie to have this just horrific image in it that burns itself into your brain forever and just gives you all kinds of horrifying nightmares. That's exactly what you'd expect to see in a kid's movie. But Todd nailed this. Nailed it. Just excellent, perfect look. Of course, the burnt skin isn't going to match the skin tone of the neck. That's nitpicking. Really, the only problem I got with this thing it's just, he was too much. 35 bucks is just too much because this is just not a NECA figure, and he doesn't come with shit. Like these hands, why would he have these hands? He doesn't have any accessories to hold. Let's move on to this Batman. I think you'll probably be able to tell from like the posing clips that I'm showing you. I just don't feel like I can do a lot with this guy. The pelvis here, it's so snug and it doesn't give it all, and I feel like if I move the legs up, I'm going to start stressing that plastic out. I definitely am, so just keep an eye here on his kind of, see if you can detect this on camera. When I start to bend at the diaphragm, can you see that plastic underneath there? It's pushing it out. So I'm afraid if I rotate this too much, it's gonna just like totally warp this plastic. And at that point, it's like, why does he even have a point of articulation there? You know what I mean? I feel like the cape's not long enough, but I also actually kind of like the look of it, of like where it hits right there. I mean, I know it's not accurate, but I'm kind of digging it. I'm also like, so if you see McFarlane figures, they all have very long arms and legs. They have very lean sort of body types. I'm all right with that. Because, I mean, if you ever read a comic book, like, people draw them differently. They draw them with a different style. That's great. I'll never be a stickler about proportions. I'll never look at a toy and be like, oh, I like it because it's exactly 8 heads tall, you know? Like, who cares? That's weird. But I gotta say, I feel like this is perfect exaggerated proportions. I just think it looks really good. I like the silhouette. Now, as far as the neck goes, when this 89 Keaton came out, I said, and I still kind of think, like, I don't really care that the neck is wrong. The big neck that doesn't move isn't the thing that I like about the Keaton Batman costume, right? And it still doesn't bother me that much. But the truth of the matter is, they know how to do it because they did it first on this Flash Keaton, where he does have the wide neck, but the head does actually move at the base. That's actually the perfect compromise. It's actually perfectly executed too. So it's weird that they knew how to do it and then didn't. And then wait till you see this. Wait till you see this, guys. How they did the head on this. This is, look at this. Look at this. This is how the head was on here. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? This is, what are we doing, guys? This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. This has got to be one of the stupidest things I've ever seen from this line. What are you doing? When it comes to this Batman, it's a good thing that I really, really like the way he looks just standing there, because that's pretty much all I can do with him. He's got a couple extra hands. They're okay, but this guy, it's 35 bucks. He should have 8 hands. Now, Catwoman this is excellent. It's got that perfect latex sheen. The likeness is excellent. I really don't know how they did these stitches. I almost feel like they're like water slide decals or something. I don't know how they got all those little intricate little stitches on there. The whip I really don't like. I wish they would have done it more like the Nightfall Catwoman whip, which is completely loose. Honestly, at 35 bucks, this should be a wired whip, frankly. Like, this is not really going to cut it for 35 bucks. Some of the movement is a little hindered, like the kind of bushing piece here and the butterfly actually won't give all the way, so she's actually got more range here than she can even kind of access because of how snug that is in there. And in the leg region, of course, she looks good back here, but this is part of the pelvis piece, right? And yet when you bend the legs, there's all this plastic all the way up under there. And these legs would be able to rotate from the hip if all this extra plastic wasn't right there. So I appreciate, you know, that it looks seamless. There's not a big hole cut out right there when you lift the leg, but I wish I could rotate it from the hip, because these all have the ability to do that. It's just that plastic gets in the way. So that's just a little frustrating, because this is, I mean, really almost perfect. Almost perfect. I'm almost actually satisfied by the value. And then we get to Oswald here. I think these two Penguin figures are the highlights of this wave. They're just really fun. So the regular Cobblepot here, he's using the legs of the Arkham Penguin. That's fine, because everything else is new. Fantastic sculpting here, and even a little bit of paint. You'd love to see that. They made his arms, I think, a little longer than they should be, but I like it because it just really allows for really expressive kind of posing, and you can get his hands all the way up in front of him. The face is pretty good. I don't know. It's not my favorite. They've got his eyes looking a little too far down, which like that works when he's sitting up in the duck and he's up there really high. But he's the shortest guy here, so it doesn't make sense for him to be like looking down all the time, and he can't really raise his head up that much. So it's just, that's a little awkward. Folded umbrella, great. He should have an open one as well. Hat comes off, and I mean, that tells you kind of how low the bar is, that I'm just like so excited that his hat can come off. That's just thrilling to me. And then these soft goods jackets are probably the best soft goods pieces that McFarlane's ever done. They're really excellent. They fit just right. They're a great look. They're great looking, and they feel great in your hand, which that very rarely happens. I feel like they usually look bad and don't feel great in your hand, but it's just a great sort of, texture here. The felt like material looks like it's the same level of detail as the sculpting, that's why I usually don't like soft goods personally, is because they just contrast too much with the scale of the sculpted details. But this is great. And the black one that came with the black one came with the penguins. So you've got a couple options here. I really, from the photos, I expected this black one to kind of be way shittier. It's not. It's actually, it might even be better. Really pleased with these. I'm gonna probably keep the gray one on, because you get so many Batmans on your shelf, and that's just like characters that's solid black head to toe. The gray will be just a nice contrast against all that black. And I'm not gonna put a jacket on the one in long underwear, because that is just, the long underwear is just too funny. And that's just, I think why these penguin figures are my favorite. They're just so funny, very uncommon, unusual kind of body shape. So they just feel kind of fresher, more unique. I have seen some people saying that he only has the flipper on one hand, and that's not actually true. If you look close, you'll see, you look closely, the index finger is by itself, and the other fingers are fused together. Fingers kind of are a little more visible. And of course, Long John Penguin comes with the duck, which, it's hard to be mad at this thing. It looks great. It's just such a iconic vehicle. I always wanted this, one of these back when I was a kid, back when I had my Kenner Batman Returns figures. It's got a decent heft to it. It's definitely sturdy. And you look at it and you're like, oh, cool. It's actually got a lot of paint on it. Well, it does, but man, this paint is coming off. Like, look, you can already see these spots here. Even just the little plastic, like, strappy things that had this held in the box. It rubbed the paint off before I even took it out. So that's just really frustrating. You buy something, it's $80. That's a bummer, right? That's a buzzkill, you know what I mean? You get the thing right out of the box, you're like, oh my God, I just ruined this just by touching it, and I paid $80 for it. So that's the Batman Returns wave. It's highs and lows, as we've come to expect with McFarlane. I say more and more, the highs do not justify the lows. I think for the most part, it's just not an enjoyable toy line to collect. I think McFarlane in general is becoming more and more of a chore, more of a headache to collect. It's getting harder and harder to be enthusiastic about it. This is one of those cases where, and we've all been there, but it's like, yeah, this really probably was not worth what it cost, and yet there's no way I'm not picking it up. It's Batman Returns, right? All right, gang, I'll talk to you soon. I will be making more content for the channel. Turn the notifications on, because I'll do, impromptu live streams and stuff periodically, until I get this room a little more situated and we can hang out on a more regular basis. All right, talk to you all later. Peace out.